Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today our quote is before starting the video is there is no courage in living a comfortable life. Courage is all about breaking all the odds in front of you, whatever odds it can be. You have to break them all. So now let's start it. So far we have done implemented the thread and we run the objects and we got this kind of output. First we have to find all the tonies, then after all the stars. But as I mentioned earlier, the thread is to execute two things or tasks simultaneously parallelly. Okay, so now let's try to execute this thing. So what I want is that after one tony I want a star, then another tony, then another star, one after the. But here we see in the, you can see the output here, we are printing so many tony, then after we are going star, right? So how do I do that? See, the thing is you can't control your scheduler. You can only suggest your scheduler to give the priority. So here we have a concept of threads priority as well. Example, we have two threads. Here we have object 1 and object 2, and we have a concept of thread priority as I mentioned. So let's say I just want to understand what is the current priority of a thread. So I can say for object 1 I want his priority. So I just call I want to call the getPriority, this method, and we see what is the priority of the thread of object 1. So for output I use system.out object 1 dot get priority. Okay, now let's execute it. First we compile, then run. Here you see the priority is 5. Okay, so we got 5. After printing the priority you can see we got the value first, but we got the priority as 5. So now what is this priority? So what is the range basically? So the range of priority goes from 1 to 10. So 1 is the least priority and 10 is the highest priority or maximum priority, and 5 is default, which is normal. So by default every thread will be having a normal priority. So what you can do is you can change the priority of a thread. Maybe you want the second thread to have higher priority. So let's just say set priority to 10. Let's say the max. Or you can use some constants like set priority thread. These are the which are max, main priority, then norm priority. You can also go for this also, but when let's say the max, and I just remove it. Both are the same things. Max is basically equivalent to 10. Now let's try it again. We first compile it and then run it. As you see, we given the priority of object 2 or thread as the max, but what I can see the output is we first get the Tony, then star, then again Tony, then again star, then some star, then after Tony. So it's working in simultaneously. The only thing is when you're specifying that the priority for this thread is the maximum, you are basically suggesting to your scheduler, hey, this thread should get a highest priority, and it is not like a scheduler will give you that priority. because see, different schedulers have different algorithms to work with. Now we have suppose multiple threads and they are reaching to a point. At the same time, scheduler can say, okay, now I will see the priority, or maybe a scheduler will see who will take the lowest time. So if there is a thread which will take less times, like for example here I will give the max priority to the second thread, but it will print the first thread Tony, maybe it takes less lowest time. So again, as I mentioned, different scheduler has a different algorithm to work with. So using a priority, you can only suggest what should be done. Okay, that's one. So we know how to set the priority and get the priority. Apart from that, if you still want to make this work, one thing we can do is here, after printing Tony, see what is happening is the scheduler will give you some time to execute, right? So let's say scheduler say thread A, you can execute for let's say 1 millisecond, and we will assuming that in 1 millisecond it will print one Tony. But no, as most of the machines are so fast nowadays, in that 1 millisecond it is executing this number, maybe all 5 or 10. So how do you control this? So one thing we can do is, after printing every Tony, let ask our thread to wait. Okay, so the way you can do that is by using a thread. There's a method called sleep. So I'm calling this method here, thread just wait for the whatever number you put, it is in millisecond. So how much time you want this thread to sleep? So when you say you sleep, you are asking the thread to wait. Let's say wait for 10 milliseconds. So what we are doing, basically trying to do, is once you print Tony at this particular thread, the other will go in. After printing Tony, it will go into the wait stage, and after waiting stage, again then B will execute, and after execution of B, I want it to wait you also for 10 milliseconds. But here you see this will sleep method will throw some exception. I just fix it with try catch, and I will explain later at upcoming videos how to handle these exceptions in a separate way. But let's now fix this in the same way this thread also, and remove this. Yeah, be fine, cool. So as you can see, we got to try catch, and then just to reduce the no, I think it is pretty fine. So let's compile and run. Let me first clear it. In the meantime, I will remove this. I don't want to see the priority and the max priority. Just it's okay. Now first compile this thread and then run it. Oh, great! Here you see there is a Tony, then there is 2 star, then after Tony, then a star, then there is alternative, then again we find the 2 Tony. So this can happen is when you say it is possible after doing this calculation, after doing the situation of Tony then star, the 2 threads are going back to the scheduler at the same time, and the scheduler has given the chance to then Tony first. So it all depends on how you work with threads. I mean, you can only make multiple threads. It all depends upon your scheduler how to run this. And that's why sometimes, when you play game, you can see some of the characters are not moving in sequence and are not in sync, because the threads are not working properly there. So one thing I can do is, if I want to Tony to come, and after that I can just put a sleep here as well, so that after maybe let's say 2 milliseconds wait, then run the thread second. Oh, I can again handle the track exception here also using track. Yeah, done. pretty fine. Okay, now let's again compile and run it. Yeah, I think, yeah, then Tony first, then star, then Tony, star, star, Tony. Yeah, yeah. So, as a programmer, you have to optimize it. There is no guarantee that you will get this output every time. And we got it. So, can you see that? And sometimes it depends on your scheduler how to work with this. So we went so far. So, we have understood two methods, two things from this video. One is the priority, and you can set the different priority for the threads, like minimum priority, max priority, or normal priority, and you can set any number between 1 to 10. And by doing this, you are only suggesting to a scheduler to give the current thread. So maximum priority, you set it that way. And then we have talked about the sleep. Now when you say sleep, it actually goes into a waiting stage. Again, we will talk about what is waiting stage or block state a bit later, but yeah, that's the stage it follows. Yeah, so that is it from this particular video, and let's see some more concepts in the upcoming videos. Thank you, and if you like it, just hit the subscribe button and do some comments like understandable, explain more bit on trying some more different programs. And that's it. Thank you.